Hey everybody, what's happening? I recently had an experience that brought a lot of things into perspective for me. Um, a lot of us have difficulty with self worth and self esteem and things like that, and this tends to propel us along a journey of growth and discovery and learning and what do we do about it and all this stuff. And we learn all the tricks and we learn like how to cognitively reframe everything and rewrite our stories. But you can know a lot of different things and know a lot of different techniques and tactics. And I'm a prime example of this. This is, I went to therapy. I've been in therapy for a long time. I went to school to become a therapist. I will be a therapist in a few months. And, you know, there's a, there's still a lot that has to be done. It's not necessarily you learn how to reframe something and then it's all done and it's all beautiful because oftentimes we just forget. This is kind of the nature of consciousness and being a human being. And so I just wanted to use an example from my own life and experience to really help drive this home because you can know a lot of different things and it doesn't really alter the experience. It does take practice and it does take time and it does take endurance and falling again and again. And one of the beautiful things about this is that I have fallen from this initial realization and continue to practice with it. But one of the things that happened for me was that in in relationships, I tend to forget myself. This is often referred to as like say codependency or anxious attachment, or I like to refer to it as phantom syndrome because it's kind of like a great deal of me is not there in the relationship, or I just kind of disappear and merge, and it's almost like there's one and a half people in the relationship, if that makes sense. And so there's always been this kind of subconscious, unconscious story about this that is, that I am so needy or I am so weak or whatever choice of words you want to use, some deficiency within me that makes it to where like I can't fully be present in relationships. And one of the things that flipped for me was just a reframing of myself in the best positive light in all of this. And like I said, this is something that I know. This is something we can all do. Like, oh yeah, of course, you want to reframe things in the most positive light for yourself, and have that level of self-compassion for yourself. Um, but one thing that I saw was that wow, you know what? I can really give like a degree of unconditional love to other people, particularly people that I'm in intimate partnership with. And wow, what a beautiful gift that is. And I see all of the beauty of another person and tend to take all of the shadow onto myself. And when I recognized that it wasn't necessarily a need-based thing or something dark about me or parasitic or there was this and this is a really important part of healing as well, is that it was accompanied by an experience. It was accompanied by a somatic experience. So I had this cognitive shift of going from I'm needy and parasitic and can't stand up for myself in relationships to I have a really easy time, or I have a gift, if you will, of being able to give unconditional love. And what happened for me in that moment was it was like this space in my inguinal space, or my the area around your genitals and perineum and all of that. It's like all of that space just tremendously opened up, and there was a tremendous loosening of tension that happened. It was like there was this whole new part of me that was available within my own body and within my own consciousness. It was not necessarily limited to either one. And when this happened, I started to breathe very heavily, sporadically. I mean, not sporadically, rather, but spontaneously. And so there was this full yogic breathing that was happening that was intuitive and spontaneous. It had nothing to do with like, oh, I should do some breath work right now. It was just like, as my body started to heal in a way that it had resisted in a long time, in a way that my ego had resisted because I was so attached to this story and to this neural pathway of being. And so this is all just to say that have patience with yourself in the process of healing. Understand that all the tools that you acquire, all of the different levels that you work on, you'll begin at the surface with the thoughts that you can see and feel, and then you'll get into the more like the more subconscious, the more unconscious, the really deeply laid patterns that were laid prior to the time that you even had words to describe them, and those will start to assimilate, and those will start to communicate with your conscious mind, the one that has words. And through that union, um, you'll be able to bridge this part of your psyche that has remained unavailable. And that is the goal of the alchemical procedure, the hieros gamos, the holy marriage, which is union of the conscious and the unconscious, that which you think you are with that which you think you are not, or are unaware that you are. And so, yeah, I hope this is helpful. This was a really beautiful transformation for me. Like I said, work is still not yet done. This is a very deeply ingrained pathway. This is a very deeply ingrained pattern. This is something that is part of my karmic tapestry, if you will. And so it'll take some more time, but it's a really big win, and that's important to celebrate. And I hope that I can pass on that same lesson to y'all. And I hope you enjoy this beautiful day, this beautiful lesson. I hope you can get into places like this and just be joyous and love. Much love, y'all.